Welcome, everyone. A warm good evening to all of you to this open discussion. And today's topic is how to be attractive, right? So, wherever we are, in whichever place in our life, we always want to expand ourselves, become a little better version of ourselves every single time, and that's a really exciting thing, an exciting journey for us as a human, because that is a part of the experience that we are here to have. Right. So today's topic is going to be about that. A few new people have joined us today here. So, how these open discussions go, guys, that we have the stage open for all of you. So, it's not like we are going to deliver anything to you as such. It's going to be conversational. So, you all are welcome to chime in and share your experiences, ask your questions, anything, share any story that you have. So, it's going to be a two-way conversation. So, let's begin the session. How to be attractive. A few points I wanted to make before we start this session is to know, not go forward with this assumption that, being attractive means that you will be attractive to every person that you encounter in your life, right? So don't make a rule like that, because that's kind of impossible to happen. Even if we talk about enlightened beings, nobody like, and not every single person liked them or followed them or anything like that. So we are going to talk about the general way in which we live our lives, the kind of people we encounter, the kind of people we want to have in our lives. So we are going to cover it from this area. It is going to be for both men and women. So today we are not going to talk about how to be attractive if you're a man, if you're a woman. No, general, as a person, as a human, right? And of course, there are some exceptions here and there to the rule. But this, whatever we are going to talk about today, we will keep it under the circle where it's usually applicable to all of us most of the times. Great. So, beginning today's session, before we go forward towards the how, I would like to know from you guys that if there is any person whom you admire in your life, or more than one person, what do you find attractive in them? Can you list down two, three qualities that you find most attractive? So just you guys can unmute and talk, or you can raise your hand. Anybody? Yeah, Vijeta, you were saying something?
Yeah. So about one person whom I admire, the quality which I like is the honesty and the authenticity. I mean, no hypocrisy. So that is what I attracts me. I mean, not only in one person, anybody for that matter.
Wonderful. Honesty and authenticity. Yes, yes, those are wonderful qualities to have, of course. Yes, Sajal?
Actually, I admire people in real life too, but the people I generally admire are the actors, and it is certainly because of the few of their qualities. So it is the basically of being charismatic, like the ability, the power which flows to them, their ability to make people feel good about themselves, the goodness in them, or the composure with which they hold themselves, and certainly the power which reflects the power, not that the physical power, but something the belief systems in themselves. So yeah.
Right, right. Their composure, how they present themselves, the charisma, and all of these things. Great, wonderful, Sajal. Anybody else?
I want to share, I think I would admire the qualities someone who is, as Vijeta mentioned, who is very honest, like authentic, no hypocrisy, like whatever you have in your mind or heart, you have it in your words. Uh, and I especially like when your actions meets your words. So that is the quality which I found most attractive. And yeah, I guess that was so.
Wonderful. So we can say it as, congruency, that they are congruent, and, the what they say, what they think, and what they do is aligned. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. What else, guys? Anybody else? Not able to talk, you can just type it in the chat box. That is also fine. I'll read it out.
Hi, Smita here. I joined a little late. Can I share something?
Yes, of course, Mata. Go ahead.
So not sure if these are covered, but for me, being visionary, having presence of mind, um, being sensible, these would be, qualities which I will find attractive. In addition to what has already been shared.
Wonderful, wonderful. Having a vision and purpose of life, being
Yeah,
sensible or mindful, we can say.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Yes, Amrita is saying being genuine towards others, not faking themselves to get the person attracted to them. Okay, okay. So this again comes back to, being authentic. Great, wonderful, Amrita. What else, guys? Yes, Rupali, go ahead.
I think being empathetic towards others and not just thinking of own self, but can also think of the effect whatever the actions one is doing will cause on others. So that one. And secondly, I would say communication, how clearly the person is able to communicate and how good the person is in sharing whatever he wants to share. So these two qualities.
Wonderful. Empathy, being able to be considerate to other people, and, being able to speak your truth clearly rather than, dwindling here and there, masking it with different kind of words, making stories. But rather than that, clearly speaking to other people. Great. Wonderful points, Rupali. Yes, somebody else also being relevant and to the point. Okay. Okay. Good.
One more thing I want to add is this quality is also attractive when you take accountability or responsibility of your actions or words, how it has impacted others or in fact you also. So that quality is also attractive.
Yes, absolutely. Being able to take ownership and responsibility for your choices, your responses, your reactions, all of those things. Absolutely. Yes, clarity and focus, Neeta. Good.
I would also like to add someone who is giving space to others as
Uh-huh.
much they require and also socially responsible um, in following rules in making people follow rules uh, and stands on his or her ground or you know does not make as in not littering around, not breaking rules, that kind of
Okay. What was the first one that you said before this rules thing?
um space, giving space.
Space to others. Yes.
Yeah.
Or we can also say, someone who is not very needy, clingy, and who requires attention all the time from people, but
Oh
somebody
yes.
who is
Mm.
happy in his or her own individual environment as well. And they're also able to engage with other people naturally.
Absolutely.
Great, wonderful point. And having principles, values, having your non-negotiables very clear. So because rules, when we use the word rules, it usually at times changes with people. Of course, non-negotiables, values, principles, all of these things are also subjective. But we don't have any set rules for everyone. But certainly we need some values that we can stand up for for our own selves. Great, wonderful points. Good. Anybody else?
So Anamika, along with the points that were mentioned, I would say someone who can provide a sense of comfort while interacting with them attracts me a lot. And along with these qualities that we discussed, for me, a good smile and a good dressing sense also gives a sense of attraction.
Sense of comfort, as in maybe people who have good listening skills, we can say, who don't jump into conclusion that or jump into solution mode, but they allow you to express yourself, to be yourself, like that you're saying.
Correct. Yeah. Who don't give a sense of that they're judging based on what we are saying.
Yeah. Non-judgmental, we can say.
Yeah.
Right. And what else? Another thing that you said?
I said a good smile and a good dressing sense.
Yes, absolutely. Smiling, good dressing sense, hygiene, we can definitely count for. Great. Perfect. Cool. Compassion, absolutely. Cool. So we have a long list here now. The list, I'll just read it out. So honesty, authenticity, composure, charisma, being congruent in what you say and what you do, having a vision and purpose in life, having a presence of mind, being mindful, being emotionally intelligent, sensible, empathetic, considerate to other people, clear communication, being relevant, taking ownership and responsibility, accountable, having clarity, focus, giving space to other people, having principles, values, non-negotiables, and somebody who can make other people also comfortable to express themselves, to be themselves, right? So they are non-judgmental. And other than these, there are many other, qualities like Avril was saying. Good dressing sense could be one of those. Hygiene, good smile, somebody who is happy in a way where they are light. They are light and zippy. So they are not always stuck in their mind and their head all the time, but they're also able to enjoy what's there in the present moment. And they are available to people around them. It's not like they are sitting with people, but they're on their phones. They're thinking about something in their head, but they're also able to give people in their life some time, spend quality time with people. Great. All of these wonderful qualities that all of you mentioned. So yes, we certainly, as humans, find all of these qualities very, very attractive in other people, right? Now, when it comes to how to be attractive, so, if we could embody, if we could actually vibrate, even with, starting with few of these qualities that you guys just mentioned. So it's not that I made the list, you guys only made the list. That in itself makes us an attractive person compared to, how normal people operate, right? So the thing is that when it comes to being attractive, the qualities that you mentioned, many of those are feminine qualities, many of those are masculine qualities, right? So the order, structure, and the decision making things, the clarity, focus, clear communication, being assertive, all of these things are beautiful masculine qualities that all of us have, It's not about the gender. And the feminine qualities you guys talked about, like compassion, and the qualities like being able to be comfortable, being able to listen to people, make them feel comfortable, having that kind of empathy, having those, you know, being able to provide that space. So we are all as human beings, we are a mixture of both of these elements, the masculine and the feminine, right? But a lot of a lot of times, what happens with us is that either the masculine gets overpowered or the feminine gets overpowered. Where the feminine gets overpowered, what happens is that the masculine is suppressed, right? And the moment the masculine is suppressed, the feminine, the same energy which was supposed to be empathetic, compassionate, loving, nurturing, creative, all of those energies actually become manipulative. They become, we start living in victimhood. We start showing all of these symptoms which make the feminine energy so clingy and needy at times, right? So this is regardless of any gender. This can happen with men, this can happen with women, all of us. Why? The opposite thing happens when, the feminine is suppressed and the masculine gets overpowered. So if you see in the society today, regardless whether we are a man or a woman, we have more masculine energy, right? So we are more towards, chasing mode. So the feminine energy is the receiving energy. But in our society, it is told to us that, receiving is bad, giving is good, because that boosts, makes us feel bigger, makes us feel more dominant. So it runs across us all the time that we are more competitive, right? We are more, there is so much criticism happening. If you see around, there is so much judgment happening. At times at workplace, you will see, abuse happening, and too much control, trying to control everything in life, right? And not able to support people. So the thing that you guys were talking about, being able to provide other people space. So have you observed that in today's era, the moment somebody shares a problem, nobody actually listens to it. Everybody actually jumps to give solution, right? And that itself shows us that how much we have this lack of our ability to receive, to make somebody else feel comfortable. Because giving solution to somebody else makes us feel that we are still in power, we are still in control, we still know so much, and all of these things, right? So the same thing which you guys listed down as, the beautiful masculine energies, it becomes, the controlling energy and the perpetrating confrontational energy. There is so much competition and so much, avoidance of these things. So um, that's how these energies actually play out. Now the whole point of, becoming an attractive person is to be able to embody both of these qualities, and not in a way where it is 50-50, right? But in a way where it is in our natural frame, right? So maybe some of you would be here who would be 60% masculine, 40% feminine. Some of you would be here who would be 80% feminine, 20% masculine. The whole point of becoming attractive, being comfortable in your skin, and being able to do all the things that you listed down in the list, to do all the things very effortlessly. The whole point is that we reach to a point where we are in our natural makeup. Whatever is our natural makeup, doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong. There is no such thing like this is the right amount of masculine, right amount of feminine. But whatever things that we have suppressed over a period of time, healing those things. And whatever things that we have overpowered, also, of course, healing those things, and then bringing both of them together, closer and closer to balance, right? And the more balanced we are, the more we get comfortable. So what usually happens and what repels most people in relationship is that we will keep those exceptions aside, where we are talking about people who are very who have very dominating toxic masculine or toxic feminine, because there'll be too much stuck there. So we're not talking about that, we are talking in general terms. Second thing, if any of you feel that there is a certain person in your life for whom you want to become attractive and all that, this would be applicable to certain extent, but contextually all of you will have to see who is the other person in the picture. But nevertheless, moving forward, so when it comes to being comfortable in your skin, so love can happen in two ways. One way is it can happen through needs and it can be masked as love, right? So the first category being, loving someone because you need them. In this category, needs precede the relationship. So all the kind relationship, unhealthy relationships that you see in your life, where people keep telling each other that I love you so much, I love you so much. My life is all about you, I am so happy because of you. So everything that is happening in their life is because of the other person, the good and the bad. And this is where codependency, uh, toxic relationships, unhealthy patterns in relationships begin in picture. Because needs are there, we are living in fear and insecurity that in case, this person leaves me, in case this person goes away, I don't even know how I can survive, right? This is the first part. The second kind of relationship is needing someone because you love them, right? So your needs have not gone away, but your needs are not preceding the relationship. What is preceding the relationship is love, is wholeness, is interdependence, is confidence, is um, being able to be empathetic, and all the qualities that you describe, being able to trust, being able to respect the other person, and all of these things. But the whole idea is that love precedes these relationships. So the more attractive you become, the more you're able to come to a point where you're not operating from your fears and insecurities, but you already are happy where you are, right? And you want to get into a relationship, be with somebody because you are happy and you want to share your happiness with someone else. You don't want to get into a relationship because you feel incomplete and somebody else is going to come and magically complete you. When we are incomplete, it continues to keep us in this state of fear, insecurities, and the same repeating patterns. So that is, one way to put this whole thing, that how can we move from this space to that space. Cool. So now, anything to this you guys want to add? Akarma, anything you want to add to this?
No, nothing. Nothing from my side. All good.
Yes. So how about you guys? Any questions coming up? Anything in your experience that you have experienced, what I was talking about in your life, that you applied this thing in your life and this started working, how it worked out in your life?
Actually, Anamika, through my experience and through all the studies which I am going through from past year, what I have understood, what we call or what we have seen as love is actually not love. It is, I don't know what is, it is something else. So basically हम लोगों को ये बोला जाता है, सिखाया जाता है हमेशा से कि to compromise for someone else or to give some to someone else selfishly is love basically. But when we do this, actually, I don't know other person gets happy or not, but we eventually suffer, and it creates a lot of resentment in us. So, so the thing is that we get this idea of, by movies or by people around us or by everything, that it just happens whenever you find the right person. It just happens, and like love at first sight and everything else. So it just happens, and you feel that thing in that this is the right one for me, and then you do everything for them. So that is love. But now what I am currently understanding is that that is something different, like kind of your trauma bonding or attraction, or maybe something else, some chemical thing going in your body, but that is not love. And is love, you have to teach yourself how to love, and for that you have to first love yourself, and then only you can move forward.
Yeah, beautifully said, Palak. That and what you said is very much evident in the relationships that we see, because in the beginning, all relationships are, good, and when the honeymoon period is on, but these two people have not learned how to, create that relationship in a grounded space, in a space where, you're coming together with alignment. So they're just coming together with attraction, but the whole point is that attraction fades away over a period of time, and then what remains on the plate, the plate is empty, and now they don't know how to sustain the relationship, right? So to sustain the relationship,
More of that, I think probably the word we would use here is infatuation rather than attraction.
yeah, absolutely, we can say that. Yeah, and then it fades away, and then we don't know how to handle it. And moreover, the ways for us to handle the relationships, are the same unhealthy ways and the same, ways of manipulation. So basically, the thing is that whenever there is unhealthy patterns, there is going to be manipulation, some or the other way, other form of manipulation. And we keep, manipulating ourselves, lying to ourselves, lying to the other person, both of them lying to each other to sustain the relationship, and, giving ourselves some reason that no, we have to sustain this because it has to be successful for the society. We have to be in this. We love each other, and all of the reasons. Then that's what becomes evident. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing, Palak. Right. And what you shared, that before we get into these relationships, and we are able to see these things clearly. It's not even about getting relationship, but even if when it comes to becoming an attractive person, it is about being able to be honest to yourself, being able to love yourself, being able to be aware of, you know, what are your beliefs? Where do you come from, right? What are your values, your negotiation? What are you bringing on the plate? Who are you as a person, right? So becoming self-aware and knowing all of these things, being grounded and being able to accept your truth, that is what makes us more ready for a aligned relationship, rather than just the shallow surface level things which are just nothing but the ripples of our past.
Yeah, and mostly we also fall for some physical traits as well, and then after that, if the person is like love bombing us and showing some like making us feel special and all, we think that wow, this person cares for us so much more. But then eventually we just came to realization that it is not for us, it is for them only, because they are getting something out of that.
Absolutely, absolutely, right. And that's how we miss the red flags, and that's how we misinterpret so many things, before starting the relationship. Yeah.
And I think sometimes there is society pressure as well, which leads to taking incorrect decisions.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That happens, but that is where, we need to um, get clarity on our part. So I'm not saying that a person should follow the society or they should not follow the society, how much. So basically, there is no measurement to that. It can be totally subjective and depending upon the person. But what we can do is the least we can do for ourselves is have that clarity, know why we are doing what we are doing, and choose it consciously. Ki, I am making this choice, so I'm able to take ownership and responsibility of this thing, right? So iska jo result hoga, I'm taking ownership and responsibility for that as well. Because if there is pressure, let's suppose, and I'm accepting that pressure, right? Still, there is somebody who is accepting it. So if I'm taking a decision in that regard, so why not own it up, right? So otherwise kya hota hai that we keep dwindling from one extreme. So one extreme may we feel that I don't want to do this, and yet we end up doing this. So there is so much incongruence inside us only, which shows that we want something else but we are doing something else, right? So the whole point is to align. If you can, show courage and take a different step. If you cannot, at least we can take ownership and responsibility for whatever decisions we are making. Yeah. So that would still make us come closer to being a more attractive person. Because if we are somebody who is like, Hindi में एक कहावत होती है, तुम तो ना ऐसे दिन पे हिंदी के लोटे हो, right? मेरी मॉम मुझे बचपन में बहुत बोलती थी. So वो जो कहावत होती है, and nobody actually admires that. Nobody. That is not an admirable quality at all. Incongruency, nobody admires, right? So unless, of course, somebody is belongs to a very a different category. So this is a beautiful quality to have. That whichever side we are on, we own it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Smita. Anybody else?
Anamika, I had a question. So you mentioned about different people having different proportions of masculine and feminine energy. So like, how can we find that proportion for ourselves? Like, what proportion of masculine femininity we carry?
Right. So how you can observe it is, becoming more observant in watching your natural responses. So this may take some time for you to train yourself, because literally, like, you'll have to observe it in the minutest things and with the most complicated situations. Because what happens is that our natural response comes as one thing, and the way we end up responding is very different, because of all the rationality and all the logical plus minus and everything that's going on in our head, which is okay. But become more aware and of what your natural responses are, what feelings arise in you, what kind of thoughts arise in you, and what is the language which is being used in those thoughts and feelings. How do they feel, right? So whichever area you're more what should I say, inclined towards. For an example, let's suppose you're a person who's more inclined towards structure and less inclined towards being very fluid. So it shows that you're more on the masculine side and less on the feminine side. So that you will have to check for yourself.
Okay. So is there any like optimum proportion for each and everyone which makes it more attractive, or like how does it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, na, that the optimum proportion for you is your natural proportion, your natural makeup, the way you are created. The whole thing is that it gets messed up with the kind of experiences that we have in our lives. So keeping those, if let's suppose you keep all the experiences, everything that was given to you externally aside for the time being, what will be remaining? And how will you make your decisions? How will you choose, and how will you think, and how will you feel?
Oh yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Abhiraj. Cool. Cool. What else? One thing that I wanted to add to this point, that people who we generally find very admirable, inspiring, and attractive, they are more towards, secure attachment style. They have a more secure attachment style compared to people who have insecure attachment style. Because insecure attachment style in itself prevails that we are either on the toxic masculine or toxic feminine side. We are either, you know, always anxious, always bothered, stressed, overthinking, and ungrounded, or we are at a space where, the only way we know to handle the situation is by avoiding it completely, by escaping it, by not talking about it, by just keeping it away. So that is one thing. Another thing is becoming more emotionally intelligent. So the pillars of emotional intelligence, a few that we touched today, like becoming more self-aware, more empathetic, more self-motivated. So we all, see people who are mm, who just feel okay to do things on their own, and having that social skills, feeling comfortable with, people. So it's not about, somebody should go to the party or somebody should not. Again, it comes back to what is your natural makeup, what kind of setup that you prefer for yourself. And the last one, that is self-regulation. That is one very, very important and attractive thing to have, that, every time you encounter a problematic situation in your life, but rather than getting completely engrossed or, involved in it, but you're able to see it and regulate yourself in a way where you don't take decisions haphazardly in your trauma response mode, your fight and flight response. You're able to take yourself out, see it objectively, and you're able to regulate your nervous system, then take a decision, right? So that, of course, makes us better decision makers. That makes us, helps us to take better choices in life. And yes, that's another thing to have. Cool. Yes, Mita.
Yeah. So just wanted to know if so this being attractive discussion, it's not only for just between a man and a woman. I mean, we are not talking about just that kind of relationship. Uh, can we? I mean, if it is possible and a part of this discussion, can we talk about how to be attractive at your professional place? I know being yourself
Absolutely.
is the best thing, and but then what else we can do?
Yes. So this is, um, everything that we talked about till now applies in both the areas of our life, be it personally, be it professionally. So has it ever happened to you that you just enter a restaurant and there is a man or a woman sitting over there, and you don't even know them, you don't know anything about them, but they have that kind of charisma, they have that kind of confidence radiating from them, that you sense that, wow, she's so beautiful, or that man is so beautiful, right? So not just about personal relationship, this is applicable on professional relationships as well. This is applicable to all of us everywhere, right? Because naturally, as humans, uh, we all want to, become mindful, we all want to be happy, we all want to, you know live more intelligently, consciously, mindfully. It's just that, at times, we get carried away by what we have accumulated inside us. But naturally, all humans want that. All normal humans would want the same thing. Yeah. And professionally, Smita, what we have observed over a period of time is that in corporates, at workplace, most people operate from their masculine energy, because of course there is so much competition and there is so much you know, hustle bustle going on everywhere. But the beauty of professional relationship is, you know, especially when you move forward and you go to higher positions, more managerial, more leadership kind of positions, the more feminine energy you're able to accumulate, the better leader you become, because feminine energy is the energy of collaboration and masculine energy is the energy of competition. So masculine से हम काफी सारे, you know, steps चढ़ तो जाते हैं, but it becomes hard for us to become better leaders growing forward, because for that we have to integrate both of these energies. Otherwise वो halfway ही रह जाता है.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because if you see a leader, you know, you always admire a leader who includes you, not who
Absolutely.
competes with you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So of course, if whichever position you are in, if you're able to include people around you, they are going to find you attractive. Thank you, Smita. Yes, Rupali.
So I have a question regarding the feminine, like healthy feminine and healthy masculine. So what are those qualities that we should have, would show that, which would actually indicate that we are having both the qualities and they are all healthy. They are not something which is not good or not, which are not unhealthy, basically.
Right. So the feminine qualities that all of us can develop in ourselves is, you know, the compassion, being able to receive, right? So for an example, if you observe most of the people around you, you'll see that they cannot even receive compliments properly, right? So the feminine is the energy of grace. It's the energy of beauty. It's the energy of flow, fluidity. You know, she's like this dancing energy of the universe. So she's like flowing and dancing, fluid, moving around, including everybody, collaborating. She's kind, creative, intuitive. Intuition is another thing. She's very feeling based, loving, unconditionally loving, nurturing, understanding. She has the capacity to make people feel comfortable. She listens. She's a good listener. So these are, you know, the feminine qualities we can develop. Then the masculine is, you know, order, structure, discipline, you know, outer strength, inner strength as well, capability, assertiveness. It's the energy of direction, being very protective, providing for people, being responsible, being able to set boundaries, having that clarity, having that confidence. Now, the thing is that, you know, when we are in this toxic masculine or toxic feminine state, so either of these energies are imbalanced, and toxic masculine and toxic feminine, you know, go together. Sometimes you will become so angry, and sometimes you will become so passive, right? So you're kind of, you know, dwindling between extremes. So it's the same that applies to people with low emotional intelligence, same thing that applies to people who are in insecure attachment style, always living in extremes, right? Either pleasing everybody, and the moment, you know, somebody does not respond properly, then we start feeling that, oh god, now this person is going to leave me, this person is going to reject me. So being in that both different sides of the pendulum. But when it comes to divine masculine, divine feminine, actually the thing is, we only use these terms to, you know, understand the attributes of these energies. Like I explained to you, the energy, the attributes of natural feminine, natural masculine. But when you reach that state where you're able to embody the divine side, natural side of these things, you act like a shapeshifter, right? So you have both of these qualities. There will be times in your life where you need to flow, where you need to relax, where you need to, you know, just let things take their course. But there will be times when you need to take charge, where you need to be disciplined, where you need clarity and focus. So when we reach that natural state, both of these qualities coexist together. So they are not, there is no fight going inside us that, the black and white thinking that I can either have direction or not have direction at all. We can have direction and still decide, still have the power of discernment where we can, be fluid and flowy and nice. Right? So that's what actually the natural state looks like, where we are, able to shape shift in both of these areas. Does that answer your question, Rupali?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.